I'm back home. Yay.
Yay.
So I have my fan again. Yay. Oh, it's so nice to be home. And it's so nice to be talking about whatever the fuck we watched on Survivor.
Yeah, no, this was...
And I don't care about cursing because this channel isn't monetized. What the fuck was this episode?
This episode was beyond confusing.
What the fuck was this episode? We'll talk. We'll go.
But also one of possibly the best episodes in a while.
This is my favorite episode of the season. Let me make that very clear before I even do the intro. This is my favorite episode of the season. But what the fuck happened? Anyway. Hello. Hi. Welcome to the Cup TV, the Currently Unnamed Podcast, where we put the real and the tea in reality. And you can always come to us first to quench your thirst. I'm Logan Murphy. I say something gay. I've got some water, of course, because hydration is of the essence of Hall, but I'm also drinking some Fresca grapefruit-infused soda water. Now, why, you may ask? Because it's not seltzer, it's kind of sweet, and it has, no sugar at all in it. So it satiates the,
glass.
And I chose a very fancy glass because I didn't know what else to drink it out of today. Jack watched my didn't watch, but heard my whole, I need to find a glass before we started this. But yes, it's very nice. I'm very excited about it. It satiates all of my, carbonation needs, my soda needs without being soda, because we don't have soda on this season anymore, unfortunately, so we're not drinking soda the rest of the season.
Yeah. But
if I was drinking it out of anything else, it would be a cup mug. Unfortunately, I don't know where mine is.
Logan, that is literally one of your jobs.
Okay, I think my roommate washed it while I was out of town. I'm going to go look. Oh, I found her.
Okay, great.
Her. This is going to be one of those unhinged episodes today, y'all, where I'm just going to, the ADHD is ADHDing. But hi, I found Cup Mug. She's back. I'm back with her. It's beautiful and lovely. Cup Mug. That's all you get today.
Yeah.
And you can get your Cup Mug. We're already 3 minutes into the intro, so... But you can get yours and all of our other merch at lanagcreations.etsy.com. That link is down in the description below. And we do ship domestically within North America, currently. Internationally, we are working on it still, so there are some excuses.
We're getting there. We are trying.
We're working on it.
But
we're working on it.
Anyway, hi, my name is Jack. I'm the resident game designer of the panel. And, yeah, no, you're not going to win this challenge.
Thanks, Jack. I really appreciate your support.
Yeah.
Let me go cross some balance
Someone had to
beams.
say it.
Let me go cross these balance beams and dig some rope out of sand. And I'll prove you wrong.
Yeah, and in the meantime, I'll go grab a cushion and some popcorn.
This episode.
Unhinged. Jeff is officially lost.
I'm like, did Jeff discover edibles? Or did Jeff start drinking on the job? I'm genuinely confused.
Jeffrey,
and I'm excited for him.
Because he got a coffee enema. He got the coffee enema. That's what happened.
Got a coffee enema. That's what happened. Thank you, Jack. But genuinely, this is such a different Jeff. Even a different Jeff to 45. That's what I'm noticing. Is Jeff feels different. And I don't get it. I don't know. I don't get it.
I genuinely think it is just because we had 2 quits early in 45 that he's like, no, I'm going to be hard on y'all now.
Right.
Whoops. But, yeah, I mean, I'm not complaining too much. There's one specific thing that made me go, what? But we'll get to that. Overall, I'm very happy to see Jeff this unhinged. because we need it. It matches the vibe of the season.
It really does, because this season is unhinged, but it is episode 9 of Survivor 46. You all saw that in the title. I didn't need to say that, but I'm going to anyway, in case you just didn't click or didn't look at the title of this video. Which, honestly, I do sometimes. I'm just like, oh, my favorite creators did something. Click on the video, full screen, and I don't even bother to look at the title. But hopefully you did. And hopefully you're also subscribed. Because we are here almost all the time giving you almost all things reality TV. We've got 3 other channels as well as our membership channel for exclusive content and early access. And all those links are down in the description below. So go make sure to check out all of our content, because we do a lot of it. It's actually less right now than normal, which thankful for that. But
we got a month.
We got about a month. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Because these will be done. We'll be getting more. Like, May is going to be weird. May is going to be weird for us. But yes, we dive back into Survivor 46. Tevin was voted out by a vote of 8-2 at the last tribal. Everyone comes back to camp completely blindsided by Q threatening to, or not threatening to, but asking everyone to vote him out. And I love that everyone at the start of this episode, in the middle of the night at camp, is like, no, we were all blindsided by that, right? Like, it wasn't just me. It was everyone, right?
Yeah, I mean, this just, like, the full realization of everyone, just, this is going to be a weird reference for anyone who hasn't seen it. The original Dropout Survivor episode. This reminded me exactly of Grant's elimination, where everyone right after goes, did anyone know this was happening in advance? And everyone just goes, no, what the fuck was that? Just a full hurricane. And somehow Q still didn't go home.
And somehow after this episode, Q still didn't go home. At this point, I'm going to be 100% honest with you. As I've talked about several times on this podcast, I am an agent of chaos. I love chaos. At this point, I hope Q wins. I really wouldn't be surprised. It would be so fitting for this season. It would be so fitting for this season if Q won.
It would also make sense why Jeff has specifically defended Q, even after, and I'd like to state this clearly, in the episode, Q says he tried to quit. There's no, like, secret strategy or anything that we managed to gaslight ourselves into. No, he just tried to quit.
We played ourselves last week.
I was
If you listened last week, no, it's not even you. I'm not letting you take that on your own, Jack. We were convinced. We were convinced that Q had some master plan, and, like, he cracked the codes like Sasha Bell did. He was playing 4D chess, and everyone else here was playing Chutes and Ladders. Like, we had convinced ourselves.
And
just for you to go, yeah, no, I actually just tried to quit.
Yeah. For everyone to actually be playing Chutes and Ladders, and Q to be, like, poking the ground with a stick. Like, it was bad. But it just, like,
I wouldn't go that far. I would say if everyone else is playing Chutes and Ladders, I would say Q is playing dodgeball.
Yeah, except he got hit like 3 times already and he just hasn't realized it.
Yeah.
The ref is just signaling, hey, buddy, the sideline. And he thinks he's just getting cheered for.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I mean, everyone goes in on Q. Specifically Ben going, yeah, you tried to go out on a high horse because you felt you were no longer in control. I don't have any respect for you.
I loved Ben in this episode. And I've loved Ben all season.
Too.
The way Ben is my Emily Flippin of this season. Like, honestly, the way I was like, I don't know about this Ben. Like, this doesn't rock. I was like, I don't know about this man. And now I'm fully just like, if Ben won, I would be so thrilled. I don't know that strategically he deserves the win at this moment in time. Let me also make that clear. But I wouldn't be mad.
I genuinely think Ben is someone who can win just by being the person people like. Like, genuinely, when I go to the finale party in fucking May 25th or whatever, I'm talking to Ben because he's cool and I'd like to rock. But, you know.
The cup would like to rock. Let me make that very clear. We would like to rock, Ben. So.
Yeah.
But. So, yeah. I would say the other person, because Ben is pretty angry at Q. I would argue to say Tiffany is even angrier at Q.
And for good fucking reason.
Let me set the scene. Q is laying out on their boat on the beach. And Tiff just comes up very casually, very nonchalantly, and goes, "Why the fuck did you tell everyone I had an idol?"
And she's right.
I have to say, though, him trying to play this off was not the worst thing I've ever seen in the world. It was bad, but it wasn't bad. He was like, well, I just needed to make sure that we were taking care of the 6. And she's like, okay, you could have done that, no problem, without telling them I have an idol.
It's like, at least you didn't say because I could or because I was angry at you. Like, you get
or even I don't
coming
know
up with a valid excuse.
Or even I don't know. Like, that's a better response than I don't know.
But it's still bad.
It's just in his mind, he's trying to protect her. And she's like, I don't know what's happening. Now, mind you, all of this is happening. And then we cut to Liz. And Liz is just like, well, my big move is just being overshadowed by Q. And I just want to prove that I'm a player. I mean no disrespect to this woman. I really don't. But the character she is playing on this season of Survivor is so iconic. Like, I honestly think we're going to be talking about Liz for years to come.
Oh, yeah, the rumored billionaire that couldn't get any of her plans to work? Like, yeah, that queen.
Like, is she the new Debbie?
Okay, so, like, the first 5 to 6 episodes, she was completely irrelevant besides,
invisible.
Besides, like, a couple months where it's like, you're making some weird comments because you have money. That's weird. And then suddenly she just jumps up in the strategic rankings and just gets knocked down because Q decides to drop atomic bombs on the whole situation. Like, I feel bad for her because she was in the fucking right. But, I mean, we get there. We'll get there because there's more to talk about way later on.
So, next morning, shocker, everyone's still pissed at Q.
Yeah.
And so, literally, Q and Hunter realize that they're kind of screwed. They're scrambled up. And they actually have someone that comes to them to strike a deal. And it's Venus. and even the mother that she is. I'm so thrilled that my 3-person draft team now is currently just Venus. I love Soda and I love Mariah, but it's kind of iconic that I'm just riding on the Venus train currently in that one. And I'm like, I'm just living in this Venus world. Venus goes to them. And even though they know that neither of them is in a good position, they still won't work with Venus.
It's like, how are you still trying to form a hierarchy? Venus at this point, no one takes seriously, but
You
you can
both
take her
still think
seriously.
you both still think you're at the top of the hierarchy of this current game, when in reality, you're not on the hierarchy at all. You are so off the hierarchy, you're not even on the family tree. You're 3 miles down the road from the family tree. Like, what?
Look, they have to keep some sense of superiority because otherwise their heads would fall off. And yeah, you can. It's Venus just goes, okay, sure, you'll come calling back to me, I guess. Like, I gave you an offer to like be an exclusive ally, but no, you are just like not good enough.
At this point, I want to get your thoughts on this, Jack. At this point, do you feel like Venus is getting a finalist edit? Because I feel like Venus is getting a finalist edit. It might be 0 vote finalist. I'm going to be honest.
I feel like she's going to get at least a couple rounds farther. I'd say final 5 or a low vote finalist. I don't think people will take her seriously enough to win, but I don't think
anyone on this cast is actually going to understand the game Venus is playing until they see it in the edit. Honestly, because and we've been, we've all been very like pro Venus throughout the season on this podcast. Of just like, I wish someone would, actually take the time to work with her. I think we're going to see a moment where someone maybe does. And someone tried to in this episode. But see, when you do Clownery Hunter,
the clownery
it comes back to bite. The clownery comes back to bite you. So, then we have what I think is the worst twist, quote unquote, in Survivor history, where I think it's been every episode at Final 9 in the new era, they divide them into 3 groups of 3 to compete in the immunity challenge. I hate this.
Yeah.
This is supposed to be the individual part of the game. Key word here is individual. Why are we in teams?
Because
why are we in teams?
Just make it a reward challenge. Make it be 2 parts.
If this was a reward challenge, gorgeous. Gorgeous. Love it as a reward challenge. But we don't do those anymore. So
well, next episode we get a reward challenge.
Oh, do we really?
Yeah, it's talked about in the little blurb.
Oh, good. I didn't see that.
Yeah.
That's good though. But
and it apparently actually matters. But once again, we'll get to there at the end.
Okay. But yes, so we're dividing into 3 groups. Tiff and Kenzie immediately are like, we don't want to work with you. So Ben, let's rock. And then Charlie and Maria are like, Hunter. Hey, Hunter. Hey. And then the leftovers are Q, Liz, and Venus. Oh god. Yep. And then oh my god. So before we go to the challenge, Q decides I'm on the bottom. I don't know what to do. Or I don't know that he recognizes he's on the bottom, but he's like, I need to scramble for a second. I'm going to go to Marie and Charlie and say, hey, throw the challenge so Hunter doesn't win immunity so we can vote out Hunter. And I have to say, technically
not a bad suggestion.
Well, no, technically the move this episode was spurred by Q. Because he is the first person in this episode to discuss taking out Hunter.
Yes, he is the first person to discuss it. I will say, no, he does not get any credit because the reason Hunter's actually in danger is not at all relevant to the plan that Maria and Charlie threw the challenge. They still got there, and I mean, we can just say, because it really doesn't matter. I mean, there's one small thing to talk about at the challenge, but yeah, Hunter doesn't win.
Yeah, Hunter doesn't win the immunity challenge. So it's like they were able to be successful and make sure Hunter didn't win. So, like,
Whoops.
But we have the other potential target that is established before the immunity challenge being Tiffany. And that's the target as far as Maria and Charlie are hoping for. Obviously, they have knowledge of her idol. So they know that, you know, whenever they actually decide that they're going to take out Tiffany, it needs to be a complete blindside, barely enough numbers, like...
Tiffany
and at this
can't
point...
play her idol.
Yeah, no. At this point, I don't think Tiffany is in danger next episode. I think Kenzie is in more danger the longer Tiffany stays in the game. And we'll talk about why after we talk about the challenge. But we go to the challenge. And this is our first instance of Spicy Jeff. Coffee enema up Jeff Probst. Because we're talking about the team division. We show the team division. And instantly Jeff is like, well, Q, Liz, and Venus, I'm going to just go ahead and say this right now. I can predict that you three will be the first out of this challenge. What the fuck, Jeff?
Just out of nowhere, complete fuck you, you're gone. And hold on.
If Venus really didn't give a fuck, I feel like in that moment, she would have been like, honest to God, fuck you, I'm walking. And I wouldn't have blamed her in the slightest.
Oh, God.
I truly would not have blamed her at all.
What the fuck, Jeff? Why
literally just what the fuck?
Fuck you.
Like literally what the fuck?
There's also some questions asked about, why were these teams formed? Oh, it was pretty random. Was it?
And then Tiffany goes,
chaos.
Tiffany goes, we were trying to get away from chaos. And Jeff goes, I assume you're talking about Q. And she goes, yes, I am talking about Q.
Just like, Jeff is like, okay, so say the name, please. We need it for the edit.
Say their names. Say their names.
But, I mean, then we have the challenge, which
honestly is pretty, you know, other than Q, Liz, and Venus not being the first group out of the challenge.
Kenzie just cannot stake a buoy with two sticks and balance across.
And neither can Ben.
Neither can Ben.
Tiffany barely got to play.
Tiffany got on the first balance beam, took the sticks off, and they were done.
Literally. I'm like, oh. Well, Tiff can conserve her energy for the next immunity. It's fine. She'll need it.
Exactly.
She needs it. But Q, Liz, and Venus do end up dropping in the second round in a very close call. I think it was one ball left between the two groups. So we go to the individual portion with Charlie, Maria, and Hunter hanging on what is basically a crucifix. Without calling it a crucifix, it's basically a crucifix.
It's just hands behind the head, grab the poles. You have to keep your back and your shoulders. It's your butt and your shoulders.
Is this the same challenge that Christian Hubicki got his crossfade in Millennials versus Gen Z or Gen X? Now that's a season I want to see.
Yes.
Millennials versus Gen Z. That's a season I want to see. Survivor, I know you're not theming your seasons anymore.
Tribes. It's probably going to be Millennials versus Gen X versus Gen Z, but you know.
Or eventually they could do Millennials versus Gen Z versus Gen Alpha.
I would kick a child on that.
When Gen Alpha is eligible to compete in Survivor in like 13 years, when Jeff is like a floating head on a robot, but he still has his abs somehow.
Somehow. No,
somehow.
you're thinking of JLB.
No, I'm thinking of Jeff. Jeff also is very shredded.
What the fuck? Oh yeah, just because he's old. That
have you not seen the 2.5 Men episode? Not that I like.
Yes, but I assume that was like 10 years ago.
Yeah, he still looks that way.
Oh my fucking god.
Yeah, I know. Jeff is hot. At the end of the day, Jeff is hot.
Yeah.
Has he posted anything shirtless recently? Jeff, have
Probably
you entertained
not.
your homosexual fans recently? Please tell me you have. It's all Survivor posts. It's all Survivor posts. Okay, there's a little bit of.
Let's see how.
There's a little bit of chest exposed.
Yeah, it's just the 2.5 Men thing.
That's
God
all damn it, Jeff. Jeff, how dare you? Jeff, I was rooting for you. Well, if you need to thirst over Survivor host, just go thirst over JLP. It's fine. He actually helps out the fans, and we appreciate him for it. But yes, so Maria drops. This challenge goes on for a long time. Like even Maria, who drops first, does pretty well in this challenge overall.
Goes on for like 10 minutes, I think.
Yeah, something like that. It comes down to Charlie and Hunter. They're both shaking. And we get a solid minute's worth of cinematography just on their feet shaking. I'm like, there's going to be so much wiki feet content for both of these men now. I feel bad.
Charlie already has like a 5.3.
Out of 10?
Out of 5.
Oh, I didn't know you could go above 5.
Neither did I, but apparently you can.
Wait, really?
Yeah. I'm not looking up wiki feet, but I saw Charlie's Twitter and yeah, no, it's on there.
Here. I'll do it at a private browser.
But yeah, after 10 minutes, they're both shaking. Jeff is like, you just have to outlast the other person. You just have to beat them. Keep going. You're doing so well. What's the straight version of slaying? Killing it. I don't know.
You lied several times, sir.
Murdering or slaughtering. Yeah, that works.
You lied several times on this occasion, Jack. Charlie has a 4.71 out of 5.
It went down. I swear to God, it was 5.3.
And like, there's like 15 photos from last night's episode.
Yeah, because the ranking was pre-last episode.
Well, anyway.
Or it was.
Speaking of the man with 4.71 out of 5 stars on WikiFeet, Charlie wins the immunity challenge. Yay!
Yay! Good for him. He actually beat Hunter.
In what we now know to be the last immunity challenge Hunter competes in. Ooh.
Oh no.
Oh no. So, okay, we go back to camp. It's confusing. This whole sequence is just like the target shifted, I think, like 20 different times in the like 15 minutes we saw. So we go back to camp. We have options. Q and Hunter are the obvious options for the vote. Q is like, I know it's probably me. Tiffany is very adamant about Q. There's still this plan against Tiffany. Q decides he wants to clear the air with Kenzie, and Kenzie's like, no.
Not happening.
No. But we still got the Tiffany plan going ahead. Now being spearheaded by Kenzie.
I swear to fucking God, this season is entirely about turning on your closest ally.
It's Gabon. It's Gabon. This season fucking is Gabon. This season is Gabon. Like, so here's where I'm concerned. I will say Kenzie has been my winner pick for 8 episodes. Not anymore. because of this move and the fact that they didn't actually take out Tiffany.
I think it was smart, though.
I think it's very smart, and I think if Kenzie stands any shot at winning this game, Tiffany has to go next. There is no way around it. Like, Tiffany has to go next if Kenzie is going to win. Because the longer Tiffany is still in the game, the more opportunity there is now for Charlie and Maria to go to Tiffany with that information, saying, hey, Kenzie was a part of this. When we took out Hunter, Kenzie was a part of the plan. Kenzie came to us to talk about it. Now, I don't necessarily know that information will make it to Tiffany, simply because Charlie and Maria are also targeting Tiffany. But with this season, you honestly, you don't know.
There's no way to know.
There's no way to know.
Literally, the target changes every single episode.
Literally. Maria and Charlie, though, in talking to Kenzie about taking out Tiffany, they didn't want it to be Kenzie's plan. So they decide maybe we shift our target for now. We then see Charlie going to Tiffany, and Tiffany tells Charlie she wants to just flush her idol. And I think that's a really smart idea, if I'm Tiffany.
Yeah.
I don't... If I'm Tiffany with the knowledge that Tiffany has, I think that's a great idea. In reality, girl, don't do it. If you're going to flush it next week. Because they're probably going to vote you out.
I mean, she doesn't play it for a reason, but...
Yeah. There's a lot of moving parts in, like, the domino effect of this episode. But because Tiffany is thinking about flushing her own idol at this tribal, Charlie tells her about that. Maria decides, okay, we don't need to take out Tiffany right now. We need to make her feel comfortable and then take her out. Let's think about taking out Hunter.
The obvious choice. The obvious elephant in the room of
I honestly wouldn't say Hunter is the most obvious. I think Q is the most obvious. Hunter would be the second.
Yeah. I guess the reason I specifically say most obvious is like, okay, great. Who's the most physically built guy here? Oh, it's Hunter. Okay, great. Mm-hmm. Who just lost an immunity challenge? Hunter. Who's been a god at immunity challenges and has been flexing that he can do well by fucking pulling off circus delay moves? Hunter. The answer is fucking Hunter. But
I mean, you're not wrong.
Q is also a wreck. So I don't blame people for... They're kind of like tied almost for different reasons. Hunter is the logical reason. Q is the I don't want to deal with you anymore reason.
Pretty much. So Charlie and Maria are talking to Ben about this Hunter targeting. Ben goes to Kenzie. Kenzie's calling it boring. She still wants people to consider going after Q. But she doesn't want to rock the boat at this point, which I also think is a very smart idea on Kenzie's end. So Hunter realizes, maybe I'm being lied to. Ya are, babe. Ya are. So he decides he's going to go around and tell everyone that he's going to play his idol. So he tells Q that he's going to play his idol. And we need to put votes on Ben. And then approaches Venus and Liz with the Ben plan. And I'm like, why? This is what confused me the most. And this is why I'm always like, I don't know that a true hardcore Survivor superfan could ever win Survivor. Because Hunter knows this game like the back of his hand. And even Hunter is making rookie mistakes.
Yeah.
Like at that point, just play the idol, babe.
Just play the
Don't
idol.
worry about scrambling. Don't worry about it. Like, just resign yourself to the fact that, okay, I have to win immunity tomorrow. There's no other choice. Or I have to go find another idol. But at this point, if I'm Hunter, I just say, okay, what's the plan? Go along with whatever their fake plan is. Or whatever the real plan is, in this case, actually, because it was split. And play my idol. Point blank. That's what I'm doing. Like, it was so interesting to see, like you said earlier, Jack, Hunter's been like the god of the season, doing so well in the challenges, like pretty good strategically. And it's like the moment something went wrong for him, it all unraveled. And it's such an interesting story that I'm curious to look back on at the end of the season. Because now the first 3 jurors are arguably the 3 people with some of the most screen time in the early part of the game.
And
which makes sense because now they're all on the jury. And also all from the same tribe.
Because they never had to face hardship.
That never had to go to tribal council in the pre-merge. Exactly. Mind you, I'm happy all 3 of them are on the jury because I like all 3 of these people. But this tribe is really like the oddballs and the out there people, and then Randon. Remember Randon?
Yeah, Randon was really awesome, and then he was medically evacuated.
And then he was medevaced. Yep. Mm-hmm. So they're all worried. Hunter fails his plan with Venus and Liz. They just want to stick with Q and be in the majority. Also, Venus goes to Ben. Because in this moment, Hunter's telling everyone, I have an idol, I'm playing it. Venus goes to Ben and tells Ben about Hunter's idol. And the word kind of disseminates now. And everyone's like, okay, so maybe we take the shot at Hunter. Maybe we don't take the shot at Hunter. I'm not sure.
Yeah, let's just take Q then. Just make it easy. I don't know. But like everyone is still on Hunter. Tiffany just says, oh, he's bluffing. He's bluffing outright.
I wish I had that level of confidence to be like, no.
I do also want to mention that Venus, when Hunter says, oh yeah, I have an idol, Venus just goes, oh. There's like, are is that not like impressive? She's like, no, not really. Like, good on you, I guess, but it doesn't really change me. She just does not give a flying fuck, and I love her.
I love it.
She is watching the man that ignored her for 17 days struggle and lapping it up.
I love it for her. I really do. I really love it for her. So we go to tribal. And guess what? We've got Spicy Jeff again. Because Jeff says, okay, before we do anything, I'm going to get comfortable. Pulls out a cushion. First time in 46 seasons that Jeff Probst has pulled out a cushion. And then decides, no, I'm going to bring popcorn from Ponderosa. And then actually shares it with everyone.
And
they were all like, oh, Jeff, you can't do that to us. You can't do that to us. And he's like, you know what? You're right. And I think everyone was gooped. Like, gooped beyond belief. Can we talk about, I know where you're going.
Liz is not eating in 72 hours because she's allergic to fucking everything.
Liz got to eat! Yay! Is that why she's been so neurotic over the...
got to eat.
Is this why she's so, like, all over the place in the last couple of episodes because she hasn't eaten in 72 hours? It all makes sense now.
That's basically the only thing she can eat.
And she can't even eat all the fruit.
She can't eat coconut. Like, she's allergic to fucking everything.
Girl, why go on Survivor? Genuinely. Liz, genuinely.
Her brand.
Why go on Survivor? Yeah.
And I love her for that.
Honestly, sure.
Starve for 17 days. Starve for like 20 plus days. Get a little bit of brand exposure. But I mean, almost immediately after, everyone started shit talking Q again.
Tiff and Q get into a whole tiff, pun intended. Like, oh, they start going back and forth and back and forth. And she's like, oh yeah, you were pushing Venus and Hunter's names this morning.
And Q's like, no, I didn't do that. What were you doing then?
Venus goes, yes, you were. Bitch!
Just everyone immediately knows that he's lying. There's no redemption.
God. Bitch. It's so good.
And everyone in the back, while questions are being answered, it's like, Q, right? It's like, it's gotta be Q.
Well, it's not even everyone. It's Hunter from the end of the line, looking down, asking every single person that he was potentially working with in this episode, it's Q, right? And a lot of them are like, oh yeah, no, it's absolutely Q. And the rest of them are like,
yeah,
totally.
yeah,
Hunter,
sure,
totally.
it's Q.
It's absolutely Q, of course. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And just we actually see this episode from we see this trial from Hunter's perspective, because this feels really obvious. It's like everyone is looking around. It's like surface level reading. It's Q 8-1. Like everyone is flipping on Q here. But I mean, after we get to the votes and everyone kind of settles down, we read the votes and Q
4-4-1.
Just to be clear, that is 4 votes Q, 4 votes Hunter, 1 vote Ben. Take a wild shot in the dark at who voted Ben. Yeah, you're right. It's Q.
Liz.
It's Q, because of course it fucking is. Now this is the interesting thing. So Hunter and Tiff was not really going to play her idol here. Like, no matter what, Tiff just wasn't going to play it. Hunter essentially got convinced at Tribal not to play his idol, which is incredible gameplay. The amount of tension that came up, it was like, okay, Q, Hunter. Okay, there's Q's vote. Hunter. Oh, Q. Hunter. Oh, fuck. Q. Hunter. Okay, Jeff is about to reveal it. Ben. What?
What
the fuck do you mean, Ben?
So we have the vote breakdown. So the Q votes came from Hunter, Kenzie, Liz, and Venus.
The people who definitely said, yeah, it's Q.
Uh-huh. And the Hunter votes came from Ben, Charlie, Maria, and Tiff.
Good on them. Good on fucking
honestly
them.
And then in the revote, I thought the revote honestly would have been closer.
I think here's the thing.
Yeah.
I don't think so. The reason that Venus originally did not vote Hunter is because she thought he had an idol. Venus flipped immediately because she was not going to keep Hunter.
Venus flipped immediately and Kenzie flipped immediately.
Yeah. No, they both were like, okay, he's not playing his idol. We can just take him out. Done.
And
we can deal with
Q.
Q.
Is taken out 6-1. The 1 vote for Q in the revote, obviously coming from Liz. That makes sense given the narrative of the season.
It does make sense. And we see her. The interesting thing is Hunter goes out and he's like, wow, okay. Cool, guys. Great. Thanks.
Right. Like,
honestly, what's more entertaining is the preview for the next episode. Because we get so many things. This is like as unhinged as it's like, okay, it's not as unhinged as episode 6, but it's like a step down.
We thought this episode was unhinged. I honestly think I honestly think next episode is going to be worse.
Because we have what sounded like Tiffany just screaming at Q. We have Liz breaking down.
You ruined my game! I'm so excited.
Liz calling everyone hoe bags. Like, I am not mentally. And also, good question here. Do we think Hunter's idol will now turn into a merge idol that's planted into the game? My answer is
I
yes.
hope so. I hope so.
Because we haven't seen it yet.
No. Because no idols have been played.
Yeah.
No idols have been played this season, period.
Because Jem left with an idol.
Jem walked out with it, and Hunter walked out with it.
If Tiffany walks out with an idol in her pocket, meaning all three were walked out with.
Could you imagine a new era season where not a single idol is played? That would be refreshing, wouldn't it? That'd be really when was the last season where an immunity idol wasn't played? Before the immunity idol was introduced, it had to have been.
Maybe one of the early seasons. Maybe.
Because I know the first season they had it, it was played. I think it was played unsuccessfully, but I do think it was played.
Yeah, I mean, it had to have been one before just not getting a clue, just immediately running for it was the norm. I feel like it's probably going to be around season 10 to 15.
Probably. If anybody knows, let us know in the comments. But
on the way out, let's figure that out.
Okay.
Community idols, Survivor. But I mean, what a fucking episode! Like, holy shit, it was so good.
There's got to be a list online somewhere of every time a Survivor immunity idol has been played, right?
There is.
Well, that's ranking all 91.
Super Idol overview, preventative idol. Started in Guatemala. And then there's a bunch of stuff here on fake idols and all of their uses. I mean, the potential answer is Panama with Terry Dietz being the first person to possess a vote negating idol and the first to possess an idol post expiration. China, maybe, because James went out with 2 idols in his pocket. That's probably the answer.
But there were, I believe there were idols played on China.
Probably. I mean, this would be a genuine question that you'd have to just like look through all of the history for. So I don't know the answer to that.
I don't care enough.
I don't care enough.
If someone else does, love that for you. Let us know. But
you know what? I may just like as a side project one weekend, just assemble a table of every single idol used. But you know, if I'm bored and don't have shit else to do.
I was gonna say with the margin of time that you have free, Jack.
Yeah. I don't think it's gonna happen. But yeah, speaking of shit else to do, I think we have other things to do here. So that's it for the episode.
That is it. We do have Breaking the Fourth Wall, other things to do today. So thank you so much for joining us for this episode of Survivor 46, the most unhinged season of Survivor since Survivor Gabon. Make sure to subscribe, like, and share on the way out. Let us know all your thoughts on this episode down in the description below. Down in the description, you can also find the links to all of our other YouTube channels, our audio podcasts, and our membership channel. You can also get our social media links at The Cut Pod on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. You can follow me and Jack down below as well. And you can also get your merch, including but not limited to Cut Mug, down there as well. With all that being said, we're going to get out of here. So cheers.
Cheers. Now we have to go deal with the other hoe bags.
Yeah, all the other hoe bags.
Yeah.
What the fuck was this episode?
I don't know. I
I
need
don't
some
either.
caffeine.
Me too.